evidence of a problem. Is there any?
I think there is evidence. The fact that some people think the dress is gold and white, other people think it's black and blue. The government needs to step in to fix this. But no, more seriously, first, thanks to Tech Freedom for hosting this forum. It could not be more timely. I think what Commissioner McDowell pointed out is absolutely right, that you would search in vain, not just in this order, which the public isn't being allowed to see, but throughout the FCC's consideration of this issue, that there's never been a systemic analysis of what the problem with the internet is. In this order, as I pointed out yesterday, you see scattered niche examples of Madison River a decade ago degrading certain applications. You see examples of Comcast and BitTorrent from 8 years ago. You see Apple and FaceTime, that controversy, all of which were resolved, mind you, through private sector initiatives. Nonetheless, the agency decides to essentially create digital dysfunction in order to swing the sledgehammer of Title II regulations at it. And so I've been pretty outspoken about the fact that I think net neutrality is a solution that won't work in search of a problem that doesn't exist. And I think that is absolutely where we are today.
So, Commissioner O'Reilly, let me read you a quote. So back in 2007, the FCC tried to revise media ownership rules. They'd been through this once before, and it failed in court. And the FCC went back at it, and a congressional Democrat objected, and he said that there was inadequate data. It was time to put together an independent panel. He objected to the agency moving forward without fully understanding the effects of his decision. And that, of course, was Senator Barack Obama. And yet today, it seems like things are very different.
Well, there's two parts. First and foremost is, and I think that the letter that's been talked about in a number of different forums is, the right to have the document available to the public. And it's something I've been pushing for, my colleagues been pushing for, a number of chairmen on the House and the Senate have pushed for. That day has passed. We should have had this document 3 weeks ago when it was circulated to the commissioners. We should have made that publicly available so people could look at the specifics of the issue, look at what we're actually talking about when the complaints that I raise and my colleague raises going forward. But that wasn't allowed, disappointingly. And it's something that not only applies in this context, but should apply in many other contexts. There's a lot of other forums and I actually make the argument that it should be done for every open meeting. We should make those items that are circulated available publicly for every open meeting. We're hopefully going to have some, I have those conversations continuing at the Commission, and maybe at some point we'll be able to make that happen, but I haven't been successful yet. But to the bigger point, and I think it's to your first question to my colleague, is there a problem? And the answer is yes, there is a problem, and it is the document that we adopted yesterday. That is the big problem in terms of what is going forward. Now, I know that people haven't had an opportunity to read it like we have. I actually had the benefit of reading it on my honeymoon by the beach and by the poolside in Hawaii. So that was a little bit, provide a little bit of comfort. But I made this point that it is a page turner. And in the sense that you don't know what the next page is going to do, because it's 300 plus pages, and you read through it and you're like, oh boy, what's the next one? What's going to happen next? And then you're looking for justification and rationalization, and of course a lot of that is missing. So I have problems with the content in of itself, and so that's the problem in my view. The bigger question is there a problem that in the net neutrality issue that we're trying to solve? And I think my colleague highlighted it very well. The D.C. Circuit said it very well. It said it's prophylactic. That's what our rules were intended to be, that there is no underlying problem. This is to go forward. This is something that we're trying to guess. As I said yesterday, it's guilt by imagination. We're trying to figure out what bad things might happen in the future, even though it's not happening in the marketplace today. So.